Welcome to Witch Weekly, your weekly dose of all things Harry Potter and Potter related. I am one of your hosts, Marissa, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mel. Hey, Mel.
Hey, Marissa. How are you today?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm getting there. It's now like 10 to 9 in the morning, still in pajamas, so that's pretty cool.
It's always a good way to start your day.
That's different for me.
I mean, I would stay in pajamas all day if I could. Let's be honest.
I do have to get out of these eventually. I've got to do another load of washing today, and these should really go through.
It'll happen eventually. So, we are here to talk about something kind of serious to do with our beloved series. We're going to talk about censorship.
Yep.
It's going to be a good time. We're going to try to make it as enjoyable as possible for everybody. So, I have a basic question for you. Did you ever hear about the Harry Potter books getting banned in Australia?
No. I heard about it happening in America.
Mm-hmm.
And, religious groups banning them and burning them even.
Uh-huh. So, it didn't really happen over there?
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to tell me it did happen, because I didn't hear about it.
No, I just making sure that, that's kind of strange.
Like, the closest that I could even say happened was, in year 3, our teacher decided to read Chamber of Secrets to us, and one boy, his parents wouldn't allow it, so while she read Harry Potter, he went to the back of the classroom and sat on beanbags and read his own book.
Huh. But couldn't you still hear it? Is my question.
I know, right? Yeah, that's what I was like.
Because he could just be pretending to read that other book and secretly listening.
Yeah, that's what I think in hindsight. It's like, really? That's how you're going to stop him?
I mean, if you really want your kid not to hear Harry Potter, have them sent to, like, the library or some other classroom as that's going on. Yeah, of course, over here, Harry Potter books are still being banned. There are several school districts that have successfully banned the series from being in their libraries, which I find terrible.
Yeah, that's based on religion, isn't it?
Mostly, yes. And when I say mostly, I mean completely.
Yeah.
Because it talks about... So, my thing with this is that while it does have witchcraft in it, which I get it, that you're not supposed to practice witchcraft if you are of a religious affiliation, it's more of a mode for the story to be told of. It doesn't necessarily focus on that.
Yeah.
So that's why I never understood getting so worked up about it.
Well, like, I don't get it at all in the sense that I think it's kind of stupid. And I'm guessing anyone listening is a fan of Harry Potter, so I can say that. But I also get, religious doctrine and all those kinds of things, and they're saying this goes against my religion because it contains witchcraft in a positive light.
Yes, and
kids will admire Hermione and want to be witches.
And while we all admire Hermione, it's not because of her witchcraft, it's because she's smart.
Yes, but that's not how they see it.
Well, of course not. And I actually had to contend with this when I originally started reading the series. I was told that it was evil and that it was not acceptable to be read. So, I understand.
By who?
By my mother.
Really? There you go.
I heard the first book was read to us by our 6th grade science teacher during our designated reading time. We only got up to, I think, the troll in the dungeon at Halloween. But then I borrowed the other books from my friend, and I was told in no uncertain terms that I wasn't allowed to, but I did it anyway.
Oh, you little rebel.
I was such a rebel. But yeah, so eventually it came to light that I was reading them, and basically had to talk my parent off the edge so that it wouldn't be a big deal. And so I kept reading them.
Good for you. I'm glad you did, because now you're here with me.
Yes, and even my grandmother has started reading the books. And
So
I convinced my mom when she retires that she should read the series or at least listen to it on the CDs I have.
I was gonna say, has she like had any involvement, like seen the movies or anything?
I don't know if she's seen the movies actually, but we have talked about the series as a whole. I've told her why it's not as bad as everyone seems to think it is, and that there are semi-Christian themes in the books.
Yeah.
Because there are.
Yes.
Sacrificing yourself for those that you love, good triumphing over evil, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I had to contend with that in my own life. But, like I said, there are people all the time going and saying these books are evil and shouldn't be taught in schools. It was one of the most contested and banned books from 1991 to not 1991, from when it came out, 1997, 1998 till 2003.
Wow.
Yes.
6 years. Mm-hmm. 6 years is the most contested book.
Yes.
That's award worthy.
Something like that. Something like award worthy. It never made much sense to me, because they're like, well, kids will be confused about what's real and what's not. Kids are not that stupid. I'm sorry.
So, I don't know. Obviously I haven't been to America, but from what I see, it's a very religious country. Very much all about God. And it just, blows my mind, because I was introduced to it by my nan, who I always thought was very religious.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one who started reading it to me.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
But see, it's not here where it's here, it's it's fiction, it's fine. I'm sure there's some weird fundamentalists who think it's evil and bad, probably the parents of that kid who wasn't allowed to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, to us it's just it's a fictional story. It's fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing I never understood. It's a book of fiction. She's not writing it as a guide to becoming a witch.
Yeah, I'm gonna, kids are gonna work it out pretty fast when their spells don't work and they can't ride a broom.
Yeah, if they take a broom and jump off their roof and break their leg, they're gonna learn real quick that that's not how it works.
Exactly. See? Kids figure it out.
Yes, and I understand that she did a lot of research going into her books, the use of certain Latin words for spells and going into mythology.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to interrupt. Have you seen the meme going around recently where they break down, it's lumos means light. Mm-hmm. Why don't Hogwarts students study Latin?
Yeah. That's what I never understood. You should probably learn how to speak Latin so you can better understand why you're using these words.
Yeah, and probably easily be able to create your own spells.
Yes. And so, there's that. She used a lot of Latin to create the spells. And she did a lot of, digging into folklore and mythology. But that's not the problem people have with it. They have a problem with the fact that witchcraft exists alongside the real world.
And that it's not condemned and evil, the witch. Obviously there is a bad guy who's a wizard, but overall witches and wizards aren't the bad guys.
Right, exactly. There's just a fear among fundamentalists about anything to do with the occult.
Which I just don't get it.
It doesn't matter if... Yeah, it doesn't matter if a writer says it's all fantasy. They don't care.
Which I don't get. I just don't understand. I always think Salem witch trials in America. I'm always you guys are a bit loopy with your religion in the most respectful way possible, but what the hell, guys?
Yeah, because the whole thing with burning witches in the past was that if they didn't burn, they weren't. If they didn't burn, they were a witch, but if they did burn, they weren't, so oops, they're dead.
Yeah, and so many of those things, you'd be tied to a log, and if you floated, you were a witch, but if you drowned, you weren't. Right.
There is a episode of Criminal Minds where this guy was convinced that people were witches and he would drown them, and if they came back to life, they were witches, and if they didn't, they were regular humans. It was very strange.
I was going to say, that's a bit of a whoops.
Whoops, I'm going to drown you, and if you come back to life, that means you're a witch and I have to kill you. And if you don't, then... Oh,
sorry.
Well.
Wait, how does Matt say sorry? Sorry?
Sorry.
Sorry? Because you was the guy from Wisconsin.
Yes. Matt is from Wisconsin.
No, not Matt. The criminal.
I don't know where he was from.
I just have a theory that, like, most killers and weird shit comes from Wisconsin.
And so any of our fans that are in Wisconsin, I'm sorry that Mel feels that way. We hope that you're not a crazy person.
As you type serial killers into Google, it is likely it will recommend to you serial killers from Wisconsin.
Are you serious?
It happened to Matt. We were talking about serial killers, and I said, I swear so many serial killers are from Wisconsin. So I started writing serial killers into Google, and it recommended serial killers from Wisconsin.
Well, I have, when I type into Google Chrome serial killers from, I get Cleveland, Ohio, Kansas,
it's because
California, and then Wisconsin. So.
I'm just going to say, like, off the top of my head, I can name 2 serial killers from Wisconsin. Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, Dahmer was from Ohio. He was from Bath, Ohio, which is near where I am. We have Dahmer. We claim him.
He's on a list of killers from Wisconsin.
Pretty sure Dahmer wasn't from Wisconsin.
Sorry, we've gone so...
Yeah. Well, apparently Wisconsin. Well, what am I thinking of? Ted Bundy, maybe? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ted Bundy at least went through Ohio.
I don't know serial killers that well, which should make everybody feel a lot better. Anywho, burning witches didn't make much sense.
No.
And so that in turn, burning the Harry Potter books doesn't make sense either. Yes?
Yeah, I didn't get, like, burning the books, you would have had to pay to get your hands on the books.
Mm-hmm.
So you've given her your money. Does she care?
There was a tweet from J.K. Rowling. There was a guy that tweeted that he was going to burn the books and the DVDs.
Yes.
Because of them being, witchcraft and stuff.
No, it was because her speaking out against Donald Trump.
Okay. Well, he said he was going to burn her books and her DVDs. She goes, the DVDs might cause health problems because I'm not sure what's in it.
Due to toxic fumes.
Yeah, and I already have your money, so borrow my lighter.
Yeah, and there was so much sass in that.
Yeah, she just doesn't care. Yeah, I never understood buying a book from an author that you hate and then burning it.
Like, I get the symbolism, but they've got your money. They have won.
Yeah, they don't.
And now they
care.
Win. And they win again because now you're bringing awareness. Publicity to their book. Yeah. So they just keep winning.
Yeah. And it's not like there aren't a million billion copies of Harry Potter out there.
Exactly. They keep printing more new covers, and they just like pump them out. But yeah, I just don't get it. Like, I don't know if you understand at all the rhetoric of what they're going on about.
What do you mean?
As in how they think reading about witchcraft will influence kids. Like, is it, they'll think it's cool and start practicing witchcraft? Is that what they're worried about?
They're worried about kids not understanding that it's fake. And they're afraid that they will start trying to use these spells and stuff. If you tell your kid that it's not real, what are you worried about?
My head hurts. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
All I know is that it's been actually successfully banned in several counties across the U.S. They have actually won. There are other states and counties that have said, no, you can't ban a book because of your religious affiliations, because there's this thing called separation of church and state that you might have heard of.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about. But people are all about keeping the government out of their churches, but they want to keep their churches in the schools that are run by the government.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, there's a difference between having it banned in, like, a Catholic school, which is, you know, paid for by people of that religion, and banning it in a public school, which is paid for by the government and the taxpayers.
Exactly.
Oh, man. I never understood the logic behind, like, talk to your kids about the fact that magic doesn't exist, and it'll be all fine. They're not as stupid as you think they are.
Exactly, like, yeah. Wow. I'm actually just going to Google if Australia tried to ban Harry Potter. Anyway, Harry Potter banned Australia. Like, I know it wasn't big, but let's just see.
Yeah,
in 2012, a Christian school banned it. And they wouldn't let kids dress as Harry Potter characters in their annual Book Week parade.
Oh, really?
2001, another Christian school did it. 2012 doesn't tell me where that happened. Yeah, but it just looks like it's all Christian schools. Christian school bans Harry Potter book.
Yes, on the top 10 list of banned books compiled by the ALA Office for Intellectual Freedom in 2003, Harry Potter was the number 2 most banned book in the U.S.
Yeah, that'll be the U.S. That's a U.S. organization.
Occult and Satanism. It was number 1 in 2002, 2001, and that's all I have right now, right in front of me. Yeah. So,
there you go.
People have problems with it because of the violence in the books, because people got killed. But we never saw anything like seriously graphic.
Yeah, like compared to the Bible's a lot more violent and graphic.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. There have been people that have tried to change it to more suit their religious beliefs.
I know where you're going with this.
Yes. So, while Harry Potter has a good base story, if you take out all of the fun, magic, it's about a kid that saves a bunch of people and lays down his life for his fellow man, which we heard about in the past. And there is a fan fiction out there called Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles.
She ditched it, didn't she? Because her husband didn't think it was appropriate. According to her author's note, her husband no longer thought it was appropriate for her to be writing this.
Yeah. I don't know. All I know is that it was last updated in 2014, and it has 14 chapters.
Yeah, that sounds about
and
right.
13,000 words.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not enough words.
It's by Proud Housewife. Do you want your little ones to read books, and they want to read the Harry Potter books, but you don't want them to turn into witches? Which, excuse me, first of all, reading the book is not going to turn them into a witch. Just saying. Anyway, this is a story for you. The story has all the adventure of JKR's books, but will not lead your children astray.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If anybody wants to go and read that, I'm not even going to. I can't.
Oh, I can. I love this. So just so you know, the thing that's wrong with Petunia is she is an atheist and a feminist.
Oh no, how dare she? Feminist? I can't even.
Yep. And I believe she is like a professor or something at a school, or a teacher, which means she's a bad mother because she's not at home looking after her children.
Mm-hmm.
McGonagall and Dumbledore are married because that's how it should be.
Of course.
And Hermione is their child.
And Hagrid comes to save Harry's soul.
Yep. Have you read it? You should read it. Like, it hurts. It is just as bad as My Immortal.
I have heard... Oh, no, it can't be.
Slightly... what's the word I'm looking for?
Better, more properly grammared? It does
vaguely, yeah.
It does seem to have, like, sentences that make partial sense.
Yep. Can I just say that Hagrid wears a wide-brimmed straw cowboy hat?
Why? Yeah, I don't know.
I've just opened it, I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, on the porch was standing a huge muscular man with a big manly beard, which, okay. He was dressed in a plaid red shirt, blue jeans, and sturdy leather boots. His chest was covered in a thick, unruly carpet of coarse brown hair, so he wasn't wearing it. So they said he has a red shirt, but his chest was covered in hair, so that's fine. He wore a necklace that looked to Harry like a lowercase T. It was a cross, guys. Just looking at Harry feel happy, peaceful somehow, but he couldn't say why.
Yep, can I say, answer the door, Harry. His Aunt Petunia, a career woman, barked from her armchair where she sat with her feet up. Yada yada yada. Uncle Vernon nodded sheepishly from the kitchen and put a tray of moist, chocolatey brownies in the oven.
What is this?
It's like emasculating for a man to be in the kitchen, according to her.
My dad cooks all the time, thank you very much. There's
yes.
nothing emasculating about that. And she's a career woman. How dare she? I can't even with this thing. So, if anybody wants to go read that, you have a grand old time with that. I can't. I actually may read it, so I have a better knowledge of what exactly is going on there.
Well, let's put it this way.
Yes.
How do we get to how will we get to this school, Hagrid? Harry queried curiously. We will pray, Hagrid retorted knowledgeably. How do we do that? Harry solicited inquisitively. What? Hagrid said, and then got on his knees on the road. He motioned for Harry to get down on his knees too. Hagrid raised his hands to the heavens and cried out in a deep, thunderous voice, "Dear Lord, take us to Hogwarts!"
Oh, that's good.
Oh yes, and Dumbledore is a reverend.
Of course he is. And while we're not disparaging against religions as a whole, this is ridiculous. No. This is just terribly written. Why is there so much describing of how they're having this conversation is my initial question.
I love that so much. It's like overly described and it hurts.
Yes.
And I definitely like the writer sensibilities.
It's just bad. So, now that we've talked about all of the censorship that, well, not all of it, but a lot of the censorship that Harry Potter has endured in our world, let's take a look at the censorship that happens in his world, shall we?
Do we have to pray to get into his world?
I don't think so. I don't think that's part of this thing here.
Okay, good.
So, censorship in the Wizarding world. Where to begin?
I'd say with Daily Prophet.
Yes, it seems we only have a few forms of getting information in the Wizarding world, which we've talked about before very briefly. I believe in our discussion of the Ministry of Magic, in fact.
Yep.
But, so, the Daily Prophet, while it is the most widely distributed form of information to the Wizarding world, there are a lot of problems with it. They usually just print one side of a story or an angle.
Yeah, which most newspapers do, to be fair.
Yes.
However, there's usually an equally
publicized
side of it. or something, to give weight to both sides. Or even if there's not, we in our modern world have the internet.
Yes.
And can look up the other sides of stories.
Yes. So we know in the fifth Harry Potter book that during the summer, Harry learns that the Daily Prophet has been writing a bunch of stories about him, making him out to be a bad guy or a crazy person or what have you.
Yeah.
And we don't really get the sense that anybody else is writing anything different. We know that the writer of The Quibbler, who we come to find out is another publication in the Wizarding world, which isn't exactly held up to the same grandeur that the Daily Prophet is. People kind of think it's a load of crap, more or less. We know that the editor supports him, but we don't really get a sense that he's written anything that goes against what the Daily Prophet is saying about Harry.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, while there's not a lot of real censorship with that, we do get more of a sense of there's censorship when we get later into the series, where they're hushing up a lot of stuff.
Yes, they don't want to cause panic.
Mm-hmm. They did report about the mass breakout of Azkaban in the, I believe, the sixth book, was it? Or was it the fifth? It might have...
No, the fifth. The fifth, when, like, Bellatrix and all them break out.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah.
So they do report on that, but it gets later into the series, and they're talking about there was another mass breakout, but no one's talking about it. The Daily Prophet is hushing a lot of things up.
Yes.
We learn Voldemort is leaning very heavily on the Daily Prophet to keep things under wraps.
Yeah. Exactly, and that they're trying to justify it that, you know, it will cause panic if we let people know, and we want people not to panic. It's like, well, they need to panic.
Yes, there is something that we need to talk about, guys. We need the people to know. I think a lot of it is done in the name of public safety. They don't want people to freak out and start, you know, running all over the place, screaming and shouting, but the people deserve to know that there are murderers and what is the equivalent of felons out there again. So they can be on their guard. It's not good to hush that kind of stuff up.
Yeah, exactly. And it only serves temporarily to make the government seem like they're in control.
Yes.
To cover up the fact that they're not.
Yes, and we also have the wonderful Dolores Umbridge censoring Harry himself.
Yes, at school.
Yes, he's not allowed to say the truth about what happened when he fought Voldemort the year before. He is banned from going to Hogsmeade after he gives an interview about what happened. She's trying to silence him because it undermines everything that Fudge, her beloved Fudge, is working towards.
Exactly. Yeah, and the way she goes about censorship is punishment. Like, she punishes Harry with that I must not tell lies with the blood quill.
Yep.
And that's just gross to use on a child. I have many thoughts about that.
Yes. We all have many feels about that whole situation.
Yeah. But yeah, the censorship within the school using, like, the legislation that the ministry gives her power to enforce. Where, like, they're not allowed to teachers aren't allowed to talk to students about anything that does not relate to their subject.
Yep. And they're not allowed to get involved in anything that doesn't directly have to do with their subject.
Yep.
Because it says after the Weasley twins let off all of those fireworks inside the school, Flitwick was like, I probably could have taken care of it, but I didn't know if I had the authority to.
Yep.
To Umbridge, and basically just slammed his class door in her face, is basically what happened there.
I love their passive-aggressive rebellion.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. And we also see a bit of censorship in the seventh book, when Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to visit Xenophilius Lovegood, who is the editor of The Quibbler. the Quibbler has been putting out all of their issues saying that everybody's first priority is to help Harry Potter any way that they can, because Harry's the savior of the wizarding world. But when we get to his house, he is printing, he's going more along the ministry line of, this kid's trouble, this kid's undesirable number one, you can get money for turning him in. So they're censoring what he has said in order to put in what they want him to say.
Exactly, yeah. They're, what's the word? Blackmailing him because they have Luna.
Yes, they did take Luna.
And forcing him, which says a lot about, because Rowling clearly has issues with media to begin with all her stuff about the Daily Prophet. Mm-hmm. But she's also got issues with how outside forces govern media like a government, because essentially Voldemort's running the government.
Right, pretty much.
At this stage.
Mm-hmm. And I just feel like censorship doesn't always have to be stopping somebody from writing altogether. It's just stopping them from writing what they wrote in the first place and making them write something else.
Yeah, silencing them or forcing them to redact what they've said, even though that's not what they want to do.
Yeah, censorship doesn't always have to be silence. It can be other speak.
Exactly. Anything else you want to point out in the Harry Potter books about censorship?
I just think that there's probably a lot less in-your-face censorship that goes on.
Yep. Yeah, it's subtle, which I like, because that's how it works in the real world too most of the time.
Yes.
It's all subtle, and we, as the general public, wouldn't even notice some of the censorship going on.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like for the first few Harry Potter books, we don't really get a good look at the outside wizarding world.
No, we really don't.
We're really insulated into just Harry's story, what Harry's going through, but as the books expand and grow the outside wizarding world, we see a lot more.
Exactly, and it's an interesting reflection on our real world with how, the media is controlled, unfortunately. A lot of news media is influenced by those who own it and their political interests. Mm-hmm. And they're quite biased. And you go, I hear in America, like, if you want conservative news, you turn to Fox. If you want more liberal news, I think it's CNN.
Yeah, and MSNBC is kind of more that way, too. Yeah. I didn't know, my parents only watch Fox News, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just... I kind of wish we knew more about how the media really works, because we know they have a Wizarding wireless network. So they have radio. So I'm wondering if there's, like, talk radio. Like, political talk radio.
Is what in the 7th book, the Harry Potter, Potter Watch?
Yeah. Yeah, they said they're reporting the things that the Daily Prophet isn't, but we don't know if there are wizarding shows on the Wizarding Wireless that take the same tact as the Daily Prophet does.
Call up and tell us your best gardening tricks.
How do you call up that?
Dunno, because they don't have phones.
Right.
Maybe it's through Flu. Maybe you flew in.
It's like Skype. That's how you do it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there is a lot of censorship going on that we're not really hearing about. They do take the tact of kind of censoring what Harry knows about Sirius Black in book 3.
Yes.
They're telling him, well, he's heading to Hogwarts. But we don't want to tell you that he's coming to kill you.
Yeah. And then they don't tell him about who Sirius is. They hide that from him.
Yeah. They don't want him to know because they feel like that will make him more likely to go after him. And they're not wrong.
No. Though I did hear a theory. There's a scene where McGonagall goes to talk to him, and he says, I already know everything, because he's spoken to Mr. Weasley. And my theory is she was going to tell him everything, but him being a 13-year-old know-it-all, thought he already knew.
I don't think I don't think she would have told him everything. She knows how he is.
You don't think anyone was going to tell him who Sirius was? They just wanted to keep it all hush?
No, because they said, I think even McGonagall said, think of how that would torture him, and she cares a lot about him.
Yeah.
So I don't think that she would have told him everything. She wants him to stay in school and to be a, good kid, and she has enough trouble keeping him in line as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
the last thing we need is him running after a serial killer.
Well, pretty much.
Sorry, not a serial killer, a mass murderer.
Yeah. He was kind of locked up for, I think it was 12 years? Is that how long he was in Azkaban?
Yeah.
He doesn't ever talk about it. He never talks about
he does.
It. Oh, you sure? Never heard of it.
Yeah. I'm sure he does, 12 years at Azkaban, but, it might have just been a one-off mention, yeah?
Yeah, I think just the one time.
Yeah.
It's very subtle.
Yeah. So subtle. That's what Sirius is, subtle.
Yeah. I understand people wanting to think that McGonagall would have told him, but I just don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Because she's very proper as a teacher. And I don't think she would have told him all of the gory, quote-unquote, gory details about the relationship between the parents and Sirius.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that Hagrid never mentioned it, to be honest.
Yeah, he's the blabbermouth.
Yeah, Hagrid always says stuff that he's not supposed to. He tries to censor himself. I shouldn't have told you that.
Yeah. Yeah. But he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have. He really shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So...
He always speaks out of turn.
Yeah. Is there anything else from the books that you can think of that's censorship?
Not really, no.
No? Okay. Well,
I'm sure our listeners probably have more examples and things they want to discuss with us.
Oh, if they do, and we would love to hear it. We want to know all of the things that you feel about censorship in and out of the wizarding world. They should definitely email us. You know where they can do that, Mel?
Where?
They can do that at mmpodcastnetwork@gmail.com or through our website at mmpodcastnetwork.com. They can do both of those things.
They can do the things. We will be doing our wrap-up episode in how many weeks? How many episodes do we have left?
Oh, jeez. This will be, 17?
17, 18, 19. So 3 weeks, we'll be doing our wrap-up episode, and we'll be reading any emails we've received.
Yes.
So get them in.
And going back over all of the random ships and all the things we've talked about and all our Merry Fuck Kills, which is a great transition into doing just that.
Ooh.
Yes, and you're going to love and hate me at the same time for this Merry Fuck Kill that I'm about to give you. Are you ready, Mel?
I am waiting in anticipation.
There you go. Okay. We have 3 people that have been known to censor someone in the Harry Potter series. So we have Cornelius Fudge, who was Minister of Magic up until book 6, I believe, when he got ousted. We have Laura Voldemort, who took over the ministry in book 7.
It sounded like you said Laura Voldemort, and I'm like, what? What?
That's his sister. Did you know?
Yeah. Yeah, clearly. Laura Voldemort.
That should have been his daughter's name. Let's just be real. Anywho.
Yeah.
Lord Voldemort, or Tom Riddle, depending on where you like to go with that. And your favorite and mine, Dolores Umbridge.
I'm surprised you didn't put Rita Skeeter in there.
I don't think Rita Skeeter really is censored. Except unless you think that Hermione censors her by not letting her write for a year. Which we also didn't talk about.
We didn't, but too late.
It's already
Other
passed,
people can
guys.
talk about it.
You email us and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Somebody send us an email and we'll talk in the wrap-up episode.
Masha, we're talking to you. Sorry.
You email us a lot. I like it. You send us good emails.
Mm-hmm. She's good. Anywho.
Right. So, Fudge, Voldemort, and Umbridge.
Yes.
Let's just start that I'm killing Umbridge.
I would have expected nothing less.
There is never a situation where you could give me Umbridge as an option and I won't kill her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I will then have sex with Tom Riddle, because he was hot.
Well, he's Lord Voldemort, so okay.
You said / Tom Riddle.
Okay.
I'm going with the younger Riddle.
All right.
And I would marry Fudge because despite all his flaws, he's one, going to be a good provider, and two, as minister, he would be too busy to be home.
I guess that makes sense.
With him. It's a marriage of convenience.
Okay. Well, I agree with you on one of those.
Kill Umbridge?
No, actually.
You're letting her live?
Yes, I am.
Oh, God. Okay.
I only agree with you on the marrying Fudge.
For the same reasons?
Yeah, pretty much, because convenient, and he is not going to be home a lot anyway, and he has power, and everyone likes power.
And you can, be a trophy wife.
I'm already a trophy wife in the future. That's what's going to happen.
That's your ambition?
Well, I will probably also be a, reviled career woman. How dare I? How dare I have ambitions and such? But I could be a trophy wife if it was ever called upon me to be one. Anywho, so yes, I would marry Fudge. I would sleep with Umbridge because it's always good to have blackmail on somebody that is also in the Ministry. If she were to stay there, that's the only thing that would have to happen, because we do know she gets put into Azkaban after the events of Book 7. But if she were to stay at the Ministry, it's always nice to have two people on the inside that you can manipulate to do things you want. And as long as you have blackmail on one of them, it's all good.
Evil.
And I would have to off good old Voldy, because he needs to go.
But that's what Harry's for. I figure Harry would just off him for me. So I can have sex with him. Yeah, eventually.
Okay. Yeah, but that's my marry, fuck, kill.
Woo! I'm proud of us. We navigated a very bad situation well. I just love that you're power hungry. You've got two people in the Ministry.
I mean, I'm just saying. I like what I likes, and I likes to do it. So it's all good.
Yes. It's all good.
I think that's all.
That's all?
I think so, unless you have anything else to say about censorship.
Censorship is bad. Free speech. Go. Free speech.
Hashtag free speech.
Yep.
Do you guys have a constitution in Australia?
Yes, but it's very different to yours.
Okay. I just didn't know if your right to free speech was guaranteed under some such a document.
I don't even know what my constitution says.
Oh, poof.
Australian Constitution.
We basically have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and we have a Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments, and I know there's freedom of speech, freedom of protest, or freedom of assembly, right to bear arms, freedom of religion, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, let's look at the fact sheet. That doesn't tell me anything.
Okay.
Look, I don't know what my constitution says, which is probably bad, but having said that, I don't have gun control issues, so.
Let's not get into that. We've gotten into that enough on another podcast. If anybody wants to hear our rant about the gun control issue, you can listen to our Chosen episode covering episodes 17 and 18, was it?
Yep, I was waiting. I was like, she could...
Yeah, Enemies and...
Earshot.
Yep. So, yeah.
Yeah, we get into that.
Anywho, so thank you guys for listening. As always, we want to hear your opinions about the things that we talk about here. So you can, as we said earlier, email us at mmpodcastnetwork@gmail.com. We have our website where we also post our other 2 shows. Chosen, which is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer watch-through podcast, and also Triple Threat Cast, which is us watching the WWE Attitude Era for the first time. We also have a co-host, Kevin, on that show, which he's pretty fun to listen to most of the time. So
most of the time she says, "Oh."
Yes, so mmpodcastnetwork.com. You can find us on Facebook at MM Podcast Network. We have a tweeter at MMP Network.
A tweeter
on the tweets. Yes. So you can reach out to us on there, but you can also reach out to us individually. I'm at Rissaru312. And Mel?
I'm M_A_Bickett.
Fantastic. So, guys, please rate and review us on iTunes. Send us an email, and we can talk about it on our wrap-up episode. And until then... happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, as long as one remembers to tune in to Witch Weekly.